As you can see, I've actually got up to step 42. I did it last night after I finished the video, and the actual construction of the airplane went incredibly well. As you can see, the seams, really there aren't any. The black that you see is the rubber impregnated super glue that I like to use. I only used it as belts and braces. I thought, because there's not many contact areas, I thought I'll use the old extra thin just to join it together. And I thought, I know, I'll be clever and I'll go over it with the black super glue just to make it stronger, and that worked really well. However, me being me, I managed to put it on its tail whilst it was still wet, and as you can see, I've managed to smudge it. Now it's not the end of the wall, so actually there's very little detail. Well, there's no detail under here. So all I'll do, I'll sand it back, and it'll be as good as gold. As you can see, I've got the 3 identification lights installed, the green, amber and red. They went in beautifully. The fit of all the parts has been exemplary. It really has. Only issue that I have had, and I think it's of my own making, is on the main transparency here. As I took it off the sprue, as you can see, I've left quite a mark. I believe that when Airfix actually did the transparency, they did the sprue in such a way that you wouldn't have this mark. And I just went at it like a bull in a china shop, and I just cut it off with my snippers. I think if I'd gone underneath the sprue, the sprue attachment point was actually underneath the transparency, so you wouldn't have had any kind of mark on the glass. So my bad there, unfortunately. But I've installed the transparencies as best I can, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to clean the seams by, I'll just mask around the area that I want to get to sand off. I've got a fairly well worn sanding stick, and what I'm going to do is just very gently start to file away the rubber compound and super glue. And it's not a case of trying to go with the plastic 10 to the dozen and just and gouging out the plastics. All you can do is make more work for yourself. Go to right angles and 45 degrees. Don't put any pressure on the sanding stick whatsoever. Let the sanding stick do the work, and you'll find that the seam will disappear in no time at all. And all you need to do is just run your finger over it to see how you're getting on, and after a while the seam will disappear. Now if you feel that you're starting to take lots of scratches or make lots of scratches on the plastic, turn it over, use a less abrasive side, and again 45 degrees, just let the sanding stick do the work, and what you'll find is you can actually polish out those scratches. Then once you're totally happy that you've got all the scratches out, you can go to a much finer sanding stick, something like this. This is a flory stick, it's a skinny stick, and you can just go over and polish out the surface, and what you'll find, you'll be left with a really nice flat seam-free surface. And because that's super glue, it's super glue, it won't shrink back, so you won't get a ghost seam. Well, that's hopefully the plan anyway. I just used masking tape here just to protect any of the rivet detail, but what I did do before I started, I went over it with my scribing tool and just gently deepen the holes, if you like, just to make sure that when I do sand, they're not going to be obliterated. If I do sand them back, I can still see them, and if need be, I can reinstate them. So I'm going to go ahead now, finish the seam here, finish the seam at the back, finish the seam underneath, so it'll be nice and tidy. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to mask off all the glazing. I'll clean it off and mask off all the glazing. And to do that, I have these. Now these are from CT Models mask set for Airfix 148 Anson Mk.1 kit Alpha 09191, and these are a small independent manufacturer who I believe, if I'm correct, sorry if I'm wrong, there's a guy on Brit Modeler called Chestersaurus. He's been on Brit Modeler for a long time. Those of you who don't know, Brit Modeler is a modelling forum for modelers, covering all genres from aircraft to ships to cars to figures to dioramas to fantasy. And there's a chap on there called Chestersaurus, and I'm pretty darn sure CT Models is the very same guy. I've got no affiliation with Chestersaurus or CT Model masks, but I saw these online and they look fantastic. I mean, they're in kabuki tape. The actual cutouts or the die cuts look gorgeous. So I'll apply these and I'll let you guys know how I get on. But like I say, this is from a CT Model mask set for Airfix 148 scale kit Alpha 09191, and yeah, I'll try it and see how we get on. It makes a nice change from the Edard mask that cost a fortune. I've literally just finished masking my Avro Anson using the CT Models mask set, and I've got to say it's gone on really well. The instructions, as you can see, they're very clear, they're very well laid out, and more importantly, as for us modelers who like to have value for money, every mask for every conceivable piece of window on this aeroplane is modelled for, is accounted for. You've got both canopies, they're both catered for. You've got both sets of side windows, they're both catered for. Yeah, like I say, literally everything is there for you, and the mask itself it fits beautifully, went on easily. It took me about an hour, I think, in total for me to finish masking the model, but like I say, I'm really happy with this set. I think it was I got it off eBay in the UK, and I think it was about £8 plus the £1.50 P&P, so maybe it was £10 in total. I can't really remember. Compared to an Edard set, this is just as good, and like I say, for something cottage industry, if you like, I think it's brilliant, and hats off to Mr. CT Models. If it is you, Chestersaurus, good on you, mate. You've done a great job here. So I really appreciate what you've done. And here's the fruit of my labours, the actual Anson itself. And as you can see, she looks great. The masks, like I say, they've gone on really well. The glass work went on fairly painlessly. There's a few issues I think probably my own making. As you can see down the bottom here, I had a slight gap, and it's not flush with the fuselage. It actually pushed in slightly. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's not perfect, but then again, what model is? What aeroplane is, in fact. The seam around the roof was interesting. I've been probably spent more time on it than I really should, but I've got it to a stage now where I think I don't want to go any further, because I think I'll probably just be sanding plastic away for no real reason. I've rescribed around the hoop for where the gun turret goes, so that's been reinstated because I did thin it down somewhat. The seam along the back here, that's fine, I'm happy with that. A seam on the tail, that's good. Underneath you've got the seam here just on the belly, again I'm happy with that. You get the mask, as you can see, for the recognition lights, fit like a charm. Yeah, all in all, the actual kit has gone together really well. For the glass work, I just used Tamiya extra thin in very small amounts just to attach it. Also, it's good and strong, it's not going to go anywhere. And like I say, in putting it together, I didn't have any real issues. What can I say? I'm happy with the results. I think once we get the tail feathers on, which I'll try and do either tonight or possibly tomorrow, even though I do have to go to work for a few hours in the morning, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. I'll get the tail feathers on, and then I'll put some foam in all the exposed holes here and there. Then I'll spray interior green on the glass work, just obviously so when you look inside you can see interior green, and then let that dry, and then we'll look at spraying the external colours, because like I say, what I'd like to do with this is paint this up now and get this decorated. I want to get this really finished, so I can put it to one side, let it harden and cure, then I can work on the wings, and I'll just make the two items together. So all in all, it's been a great kit, and this masking set I recommend wholeheartedly. If you go on eBay, like I say, CT model mask for Airfix I Anson Mk.1, just type that into the search engine. I'm sure it will bring it up, and I'd recommend it wholeheartedly. It's a great bit of kit. Anyway guys, we'll catch you later. Take care. So it's time to finally lay some paint on the old girl, and in this instance I used Tamiya XF71 interior green, and I thinned that down with X20A acrylic thinners. My airbrush was set to about 15 psi I think, and the paint was thinned to a ratio of 60-40. But strangely, looking at the footage now, it appears that the paint was actually fairly wet. At the time of spraying, it didn't appear that obvious. However, I persevered and I sprayed the whole of the canopy with interior green. And funnily enough, by the time I'd finished the paintwork, it actually highlighted the fact there are certain areas, especially around the windscreen, around the front, that needs quite a lot of extra work just to blend it in and tidy up. It's not unusual, but it's a bit annoying because when I originally did it, it looked quite good. At the end of the video, I'll throw some pictures up so you can see the finished product.